All right, got this new fancy setup going. Check it out. And one button, it all turns off. So this is my new low friction studio setup. And today I'm going to take you through all the gear I use in here. Some of it is complete overkill and unnecessary, but maybe something's interesting to you guys. So let's have a look. We're currently shooting on a Sony A1 Mark II. This is my main A cam. We've got a 28 to 70 millimeter lens on here with an ND filter because it is quite bright in here. I've only just started using Sony because prior to this, I've always been shooting on this guy over here, the Panasonic. This is a Panasonic GH6. We have an 18 to 35 Sigma lens on this one with the Metabones speed booster. But the reason why I use Panasonic for the most part is I do a lot of long form shooting, like hour, 2 hours, and this guy won't ever kick out. Whereas the Sonys, after 30 to 60 minutes, they'll overheat, they'll crash out, and it's just a really bad time. However, the Sony autofocus is just so crisp and fast, best in field. So depending on what you're shooting, I usually recommend people go with the Sony because it's just much easier to work with and better colors as well. So this camera is always living here on this tripod. It doesn't move. I've marked down on my ground here where the tripods should live. And this here is the Elgato Teleprompter, which is a really, really cool thing I've just gotten in the last couple of weeks. I used to use another teleprompter that would go on here and I'd put my iPad on top, but this one plugs straight into the laptop. So come around here, let me show you how that works. So the teleprompter is plugged into my computer here, and you can see it becomes a second screen, a second monitor. So I can pull my laptop screen directly in there, and now if I'm on, say, a Zoom call or an interview or something like that, I can look directly at the camera, and it looks like I'm making good eye contact with you, which I would be if you're on Zoom with me. It also lets me upload my scripts straight into that device instead of having to go onto an iPad, put that onto another tripod, onto a teleprompter. This stuff is all about low friction because I can't believe it's taken me so long to finally create something like this to be able to show up here effortlessly each day and just hit go. This camera is also plugged in via a cam link, which goes into my laptop here, running this through OBS right now, just so you can see what's happening here on the screen. I would also be able to switch between this camera or this guy up here if I'm trying to get some of my top-down shots if I'm doing anything in here. And that's kind of the camera setup. I also have this other camera here just for a random side shot, just for a little bit of something interesting, which again, most people will find complete overkill. That is a Sony a6400, and it's got a 16 to 35 lens on it. Now, next, the lights. This here is, what is this one actually? This here is the Aperture 120D Mark II, running into a light dome 2. That's an Elgato key light, which is my fill light. I really don't like that whatsoever. I'll show you guys a better one in the other filming area. Just because that one, you've got to sync it up to an app on your computer, and it works completely fine right now, but I've had times where I've moved locations, disconnected Wi-Fi or whatever, and it's been a nightmare to resync. I just want something that has the dials on it directly, which is more like this guy here, which is my hair light. Don't look directly at the light, you're gonna blind everybody. But this one, it's got dials. I'm not going to turn it because I've set it up the way I like it. But even this one, as cool as it is, I actually don't like it. I find it's a little bit too harsh and blinding. So I'll show you guys what I use in the other studio in a sec. But key light, fill light, hair light, and any practicals in the background here, this is all you really need to create good ambience, depth to your shots, and create something more visually interesting in the studio. Now, you won't all have a gigantic gym to work with, but a little bit of a lamp or a light LEDs in the background. Having a couple accent lights like this, because even could be just a window, if you're using natural light, makes a huge difference. The microphones that I use right now, I'm just running through the Rode Wireless Go 2 into a simple lapel. I use this most of the time. I do also have the Shure MV7 Plus, which goes straight into via USB-C into my laptop if I needed to. And then this is on a standard Rode PSA boom arm, which annoyingly doesn't clamp onto any of my desks. So I've currently got it set up on this block here that's kind of falling apart, but hey, it gets the job done, right? Let's go into the other area. So,
you don't want to talk about extra spare batteries for your cameras out here? It's always good to have a few extra. extras.
Yeah, you always need spare batteries, yeah. Spare batteries, because shit's gonna die. I normally would plug most things in, so I get a power bank at least for this camera here. And I'll also run, I better turn that off now actually. We normally run direct to the AC outlets into the live cameras because I don't trust the batteries and they're always going to overheat and burn out. But yeah, always have spare batteries on hand. We've got 2 charging right here for that camera. Over here, I do have random paraphernalia. So this is the old teleprompter I used to use. This guy, I have an iPad going straight on there onto a tripod, and just looking at this now, like, oh my God, that is so much friction to be able to set things up every single time I want to shoot. I'm so glad I've got that one now. But it's there for a backup, hey? Other tripods, like I got this anal bead looking kind of thing. I actually don't use this at all. Biggest waste of money. I wouldn't recommend it because it's not very stable for a big camera like that one. If you've got something very low profile, very small and discreet, which I'll leave some recommendations into my shopping list, you can probably get one of these. I very rarely use this guy. This is a shotgun. This is a Rode, which one is it? Video Mic NTG. Good for vlog kind of stuff, talking to camera, but I just use these. It's just simpler. What else have we got? Different lenses, 35, 25 to 50, 24 to 70, and a random, this is a 9mm, I think, or a 12mm? Yeah, 12mm. Some really nice wide shots. And lightsabers as well. I don't think these are on right now. No, they've run out of battery. But I use these lights a lot to fill in the backgrounds, just make things pop out a little bit more as different accents, and I'll just move them around the gym or in the office space as well. So let's go get them there. Right. So this is the main workspace for me most days. I live here at this desk with my laptop. I'll be editing, meetings, whatever it is. It all happens here. So things in this setup that I really like are these Elgato low profile swivels. So I use it for the microphone as well. Just pull that in, good to go. Boogie 8, the pop filter on this microphone. This is the same one as the Shure one out there as well. So now we use one of Meadows' socks instead. Works surprisingly well. I think even better than the actual pop filter that we used to have on it. But this here, this light is so much better than the ones I've got out there, because just like the Elgato one, it's not super harsh. It's quite soft in its lighting, so it really illuminates you very evenly. But unlike the Elgato one, it has its own control panel. So I can change the color temperature to make it brighter or more yellow. I can make it ultra bright and blind myself, or I can turn it down very, very easily. But it normally lives just on 1%. But I was surprised. I used to have a full setup in here with a big lantern light. And for sure, that's going to look so much better, especially when I close off all the blinds and everything. But I was surprised how well this one performed next to it instead of using that gigantic light. And this is something I can just easily shut off, hide away, and it's just not visually noisy in here. But the big thing that really gets done in here is mainly all the editing. And this is all of my files. This is the last 10, 15 years of my life on hard drives and SSDs. One thing I'm so grateful for is that I've filmed just about everything I've done professionally since day one. So I've got so much archival footage to always have on hand. So I'm doing new videos and whatnot, I can pull back from old footage. But nowadays, I just focus a lot on these SSDs because they're a lot more compact. I remember when I used to travel the world, I'd carry like 5 or 6 of these big fat hard drives in my backpack, just stacked up on top of each other. One thing was so heavy, but these are so fragile as well. Okay, I've lost so much data over the years because of the fragility of those hard drives. These guys are a lot more robust. Don't drop them, but they are a lot more hard wearing. This is the Samsung T9. There's also the Samsung T7s. These SanDisk ones as well, they're a bit cheaper, but they're all pretty much the same kind of thing. All right, and that's it, guys. I will leave my list of all the items that I use and a few budget options as well down below. If you have any questions at all, just drop them in the comments. Have a fantastic day.